Hello everyone, my name is Kyra Dolifka. In this video, we are going to be talking about branding, very specifically about your business name. As an independent travel agent, you get to choose a name for your business and the name that you are going to operate by. Branding is very important, so let's go ahead and get into it. So when you start thinking about business names, how are you going to brainstorm? So first off, you need to think about your niche. What type of travel are you most interested in selling? What appeals to you? What do you have a lot of knowledge about? Maybe for you, that's cruises. Maybe it's Europe travel. Maybe it's all-inclusives. Whatever your niche is, think about that and write it down and be specific. Next, think about your ideal client. Think about the client persona. This is essentially just who your client is, just your typical client. So think about who that person might be. If you are wanting to sell travel for solo travelers, then of course your ideal client is a solo traveler. It's probably someone who's single or maybe doesn't have a family. Maybe your client is someone who is going on a honeymoon, right? It's someone who's engaged. Think about what your ideal client is, what their relationship status might be, what their approximate age might be, what are they interested in, and write those things down. Next, you're going to do a word dump. Write down any words you can think of that represent you, your brand, your niche, your ideal client, what you're interested in. Write those things down. Maybe it's a vacation, maybe it's international travel, right? Write those words down and then go and look up synonyms for those words. You might come up with some great additional words to add to your list when you start looking at synonyms. You can Google, for example, maybe fun synonym and see what comes up. You can Google it. You can look in a thesaurus. There's a lot of resources online as well to find synonyms for words. So this is going to help you with the brainstorming phase. Now, let's assume that you've come up with a few different business name ideas. Your first name you come up with may not be a great name based on your research, so it's good to come up with a few ideas to start with. So when we talk about research, there's 3 steps that you need to follow. You're going to search the business name on Google and social media. You need to check the email address availability, and then you also need to search for the domain availability. And we're going to dive into each one of these. Let's start with searching your business name. Maybe you've come up with the name Oceanside Travels. Maybe that's a business name that appeals to you, that follows your niche, your ideal client, and maybe it's one that you've come up with. So Oceanside Travels. So why don't you go to Google and search that business name? Look at what comes up. If you are going as Oceanside Travels, is there somebody out there who's Oceanside Travel without the S at the end? Those are the kinds of things you need to look for, because when people are searching your business online, you need to know what they're seeing. And if there's something that's very close out there, that may be a sign that this is not a great business name to choose, because the last thing you want is your client to go to the wrong business when they search you online. So check and see what comes up, what other businesses are coming up, what websites are popping up, and then additional things that may be showing up in the Google search. So it's important because that's what your clients are going to do. So you need to know what they are going to see. Then you also need to check Facebook for the same reason. Is there a business page out there that has a similar name? Maybe not quite the same, but maybe similar, right? You want to reduce the chance that someone is going to the wrong business when they are trying to go to you. And we know Facebook is a great place to market your business. So this is a place you need to check. Now you need to think about other social media platforms as well. Think about your ideal client. What social media platforms do you think your ideal client is on? Those are the social media platforms that you should go and check and see the same thing, right? What comes up when you search your business name on those platforms? Maybe you think your ideal client is on TikTok, maybe Instagram. maybe Pinterest, whatever platforms you think your client is on, those are the platforms you need to go search, right? And those are also going to be the platforms that you are going to utilize to market your business. So let's get into the email address availability. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have an email address for your business. You don't have to pay for an email address, but if you're going to go with Oceanside Travels, why don't you go to your preferred email provider? Maybe that's Gmail or Google, maybe that's Yahoo or Outlook. Go there and type that in and see if it's available, right? Maybe oceansidetravels@gmail.com. Now, maybe it's not available. Maybe you would have to use Oceanside Travel Agency at gmail.com, for example. Now, when it's not quite the same, first of all, you're making your email address longer, but you're also increasing the chance that a client may have an error when they type it in. Your clients will be typing in your email address to email you. You want to make it as simple as possible. And I highly recommend that when you have selected your business name, that you go and get that free email address with whatever provider you like that is your business name exactly as you've come up with it, right? Oceansidetravels@gmail.com. We don't want to create variations because that's potential causes for confusion. So once you've decided, make sure you go and get that business name with whichever provider you prefer. Now let's talk about domain availability. Now, you do not have to have a personal website for your business. It is not something you ever have to do, but I will say a lot of our travel agents choose to do this. That is because they can personalize their website to their niche and to their ideal client. So you may find yourself in the future wanting a domain for your business. Maybe you want www.oceansidetravels.com. So it's important for you to know if that domain is even available, right? Because when you come to the time that you decide you want a website, you don't want to get caught on this being a problem, right? You don't want to have to change the domain that you want. So I like to check Google domains. It will give you availability on any domains that are out there. Of course, there are many domain providers. You can purchase domains from many places. They all have the same availability, not necessarily the same prices, but I go to domains.google.com and I type in the business name that I'm choosing or that I would like to look up. And I always recommend the .com, okay? There's a lot of other, extensions there for your domain, but I recommend .com. It's what most people are familiar with, and it's what they're going to just type in on instinct, right? If you tell them it's oceansidetravels.net, they're probably going to remember the Oceanside Travels part, but maybe not the .net part. People assume it's going to be a .com. So highly recommend that you go for the .com and you make sure that that domain is available. So if all of those research points pan out, I would say that you have come up with a great business name. Okay, make sure that you are creative and you come up with a unique name that represents you and your niche and your business and your brand. Okay, so good luck. I wish you the best with this. I know it can be really hard to come up with a great business name, but hopefully this gives you the tools to get started with that. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next video.